from what I saw in Iraq, and I know that they found a whole dump truck full of gold bars, and there had to have been at
Wait
least...
a minute. Whoa. What do you mean? Is this something
it
that hit
wasn't
the
my
mainstream?
company, but it was another one.
Did this hit the mainstream media?
No, of course, because do you know how much gold Saddam Hussein had all across that country? And a lot of it. And it's funny because we were making headlines there, and the reason I started to question mainstream media was when we had traveled 200 miles to the south to get this high-ranking guy on the deck of playing cards, you know. And we showed up and did our job to a T, and then the mainstream media demonized us, and they were saying that we're abusing kids and it was pointless, and actually two Iraqi citizens ended up dying. One of them had a heart attack because we scared him to death, and the other guy, I don't know.
Back to the people of Iraq. What was your personal experience with the people of Iraq?
You know, can you believe it that you would kick their door in? Well, this was when we first got there. We would wake them up, you know, 3 in the morning, kick their door in, and the Iraqi men, who seemed to be the head of the household, were still very respectful. They would keep their hands behind their back, and although we're, you know, probably pretty destructive, they kept their cool, and maybe they thought that we would be gone, you know, so just deal with these savages. I'm not going to say we had to act like
almost
savages.
that way.
You know, I did what I had to do
because you needed to see how many people were in each house. You need them all out, get them out, gather
I didn't
like
care.
cattle.
You know,
right?
I needed to do what I needed to do to protect the people around me,
Sure.
and I at the time thought that by going house to house hunting these people down, because they had a whole list that actually kept us busy for the first 3 months. We don't know where this list came from. Yes, and rounding them up. And so each night we would round up at least 2 people, and if they were male, we would in the household we'd take their kids to past the age of about 15, and throw a sandbag over their head and put them in the back of the Humvee. And they just sat there quietly, and so they apparently probably didn't think we were going to be there for the rest of their lives. And maybe they thought, you know, if they just let us do our stupid little thing, we'd be on our way. But here, 9 years later, I would say that they're pretty pissed by now, and simply because if the sewer is flowing through the streets.
We haven't done anything about that, is that what you're saying?
So it seems like some things were done deliberately just to piss those people off, and it's stirring up a hornet's nest.
You mean like, so they haven't covered the basic needs of the people?
No, and so the people...
They blew up all their facilities yet, haven't even fixed them again? Is that what you're telling me?
That reminds me, it's like...
I have never been to Fallujah, never been to Iraq, so I don't know what it looks like now.
Okay, so we're fortunate because we were more mobile than some people. They go to Iraq, but they spend it on a Army base or Air Force base. And so they never get to see the countryside. Back then, when it first started, it was still pretty safe to drive a Humvee around without getting blown up. We didn't even have armor on the side of our Humvees.
Let's go back into Afghanistan.
All right, well, I wasn't there, so...
you weren't there, but after seeing the craziness in Iraq, can you imagine for one moment what the hell we're really doing in Afghanistan? And do you think we have is there something we can do? Can we fix something? Is there a purpose for us to be there? Honestly, tell me.
The thing is, the thing that jumps to mind is Q Bono. I think it's some type of Roman saying, and it's who benefits. And so, to me, it's a crime scene, and let's put the pieces together and figure it out. And who benefits? It's like, why has opium production, from the figures I've seen, opium production has gone up 2,000%.
Yeah, that's a whole nother subject. Wow.
I know, and I see similarities there. Supposedly, in Vietnam, there was a big opium...
that's what we need to talk about. This is a
opium problem. Well, okay, we can't find a guy in a cave in Afghanistan. Like, he's just so good at hiding in caves.
But the opium is flowing out of that country right now.
Yeah, I mean...
we're in charge, aren't we? Kind of right now? Aren't we just in charge of what we want to do, we do? Why the hell's that happening?
I don't know. I don't know what's going on.
I mean, how bad is it? Haven't you looked on... You've looked on the internet? I know you haven't.
I can only
hope it's not.
assemble the pieces from the information that I get, and what I have to think in my head. What is more probable? Is there a guy that's hiding in a cave in Afghanistan, or is somebody making money off of opium and making money off the military-industrial complex?
Yeah, money at every turn, money everywhere, flowing at them, at their friends.
Except for the people
Look at the
who are
contracts,
disabled.
$100 a bag to do a bag of laundry, and they can't not use the contractor to do it. It's something you could do for $1. You mentioned in your life, yeah, just all of it. It's all corrupt. They got the guys on videos saying that they were in charge of making the water safe for our men, not just for them, for our men, and they're over there and they're testing it and they're not making it safe.
Yes, and so I would say majority.
So, and they're getting paid millions of dollars to do that job.
People who go over there, I would say probably 95% of them wake up to what's going on. And okay, some of them have to re-enlist because they have to think of their family, and maybe that's more important. But as far as my company went, 95% of them did not re-enlist because they had figured out at that point that we're over there for an agenda and that it has nothing to do with what we are seeing on the mainstream media.
Well, hey, I want to thank you today for this interview. I appreciate it.
Well, thanks for getting the word out, and I've been wanting to do this a long time because I've thought about, and so if I can educate somebody on this subject, then that helps everybody, because we need people that know what's going on so they can make an informed decision for themselves and everybody else.